all for attending this morning at our 2000 and June 26, 2024 board meeting. So I'm going to call the meeting to order. And the first thing on behalf of the board, we acknowledge that York Region is located on traditional territory of many Indigenous people, including the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Huron-Wendat, and Métis people, and the treaty territories of the Haudenosaunee, Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, and William Treaty First Nation. Today, this area is home to many diverse Indigenous peoples, and we recognize their history, spirituality, culture, and stewardship of the land. We also acknowledge the Chippewas of Georgina Island, the First Nation, and a close First Nation community. Is there any disclosure of interest at this time? Any disclosure? Not seeing any. Confirmation of the minutes. Thanks, Norman. Walter, thank you. Questions on the minutes? Not seeing any. All those in favor? Against? The motion's carried. So just Jacqueline, I don't see Mario. Is he on? He's not coming today? Okay, that's just so I have I'm not looking for him behind the screen or anywhere. That's okay. We don't really have a presentation, but we'll come to the two ladies at the when I come down to the reports. Okay, so they're going to talk about the annual report. So members of the board, we have one correspondence, and then we have 11 reports. Are there any of those items that want to be pulled? Now, I have to say the chief is going to speak to item 6.5 on that one. The chief will speak to 8.7 collision reporting, or whoever he chooses to speak, and then we'll go to the 8.8, which is the annual report. Is there any others that anyone would like to pull at this time? Are there any? Yes, Linda?
Thank you, Chairman. Do we not need to the communications, do we not need to give direction on that on 7.1?
I think the communications that you're asking for is the one in camera. The one that point yourself to that board.
Yes, okay, it's in camera. I didn't see
That's
it.
okay. It's under 5.1 and it's
Oh, it's in the
correspondence.
private, yes.
Canadian
Apologies.
Association. You
Yes.
okay with that one?
Yeah, that's
Says
right.
to receive
So-
and
So the other
nominate.
items you're calling is just 8.7 and 8.8, is that it?
I pulled 8.7 and 8.8 and 8.5.
Oh, 8.5. Okay, perfect. I'm fine.
Okay.
Thank you, Chairman. Yep.
Because in that recommendation in camera is to
Yes.
to nominate Linda Jackson as the person going on. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay. That's good. No problem. So I don't see any others. Yes? Sure. I'll pull that. Okay, so I have I have all the other reports not requiring separate discussion. Thank you, Madeline. Seconded by Linda is going forward. Okay, all those in favor? Against? The motion's carried. 8.1, go ahead, Steve. Just put your microphone on so everybody. Yep, okay, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There appears to be a surplus, right? Let me find where we in the report. Operating surplus 5.69 million. And it goes back to whose reserves? Regional reserves as a general?
It should go back to my reserve. Yes, it should. No, I'm just kidding, Jeff.
Oh, he's
Jeff Channel, our executive director, can
Go ahead.
provide that for you.
Thank you very
go
much.
ahead.
And through you, Chair, good morning to the committee. Good morning to the board. And yes, the process is through the regional fiscal strategy. York Regional Police surpluses are rolled in with York Region's surpluses. That has been reviewed with the audit committee, and those reserves go through a triage of reserve. Most of it goes to the debt reduction reserve at the end of the day, Mayor. But there's a triage of how the regional fiscal strategy works. I can confirm that the board does not have a separate surplus management policy. We are partners with York Region on how surpluses are distributed.
Yeah, so maybe I'll have this discussion with your
Sure.
region staff, but no, it's we use something in the municipal world. I'm sure my colleague at the Councillor Jackson will say, we have a tax stabilization that we put it into. And, you know, we know there's some pressures right now, and it'd be nice to put some of the reserves there to draw on the reserves for just this purpose, so.
And I'm sure there is. I'm not sure just exactly, but maybe Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, and there are three different reserves at York Region, but to my understanding, they're all topped out to the expected amounts at this point. But that is a question for the treasurer. The three reserves are a revenue stabilization reserve, an expense stabilization reserve, and again, this debt reduction reserve. And the debt reduction helps YRP because many of the capital items are funded from debt reduction. This is the replacement of goods. So we do benefit from surpluses. One example that I'll share with the board is around the previous radio system. So when this reserve process, the regional fiscal strategy was first started, at that time, the treasurer of the day, I think it was about $27 million was taken out of the reserve to pay for the radio system at that time. This is about 2013, 2014 range. So we do benefit from the reserve draws out of from the debt reduction.
Yeah, just sometimes there would be a more, I'll say, direct benefit if the reserve was the board reserve, right? Like if it went directly here, not saying that we're not fiscally responsible and we do our best, but I'm saying if it came back and we could reuse the money at a later date, it might be more prudent.
Through
Yep.
you, Mr. Chair. This was last addressed in May of 2017, where three reserve opportunities were brought to the board at the time, and the treasurer of the day supported the YRP infrastructure reserve, but at that time did not support a separate surplus management policy for the board. Some police services boards do have surplus management, but I would say there's a mixed treatment. Many follow the exact same process as we have with York Region. I can certainly bring back a report if the mayor is interested in reserve
Yeah.
separate
Yeah,
surplus.
I'd
management.
appreciate that very much.
Okay. So the motion would be receive the audit statements and report brought back to the board regarding the surplus. Okay, thanks, Jeff. Moved by Steve and seconded by Madeline. Thank you. Okay, it's all one pot of money. That's all from us. It's just a matter of where it goes and shifts around. But anyways, I'm sure the treasurer will be happy to comment on that. All those in favor? Against, the motion's carried. The next one is 8.5. The chief and I had a conversation this morning, and I think it needs a bit of a clarification on what it is. So go ahead, chief. 8.5 is per proposed. I have no problem with the funds, public relations, but it's how it's stated in the report. Chief?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you. Good morning, everyone. Didn't get to say good morning to everybody yet. The way the report was written, it suggests that the funds are being used for operational expenses. It's not actually accurate. The funds will be used to go to all three charities. We'll just offset some of those expenses. The reality is all of these events are fundraising events. So the board's contribution on this will be going directly to victims, families, and to those three charities. So that I just wanted to clarify that in the way it's written. It's not specified that way, but that's exactly where the funds will be going. So that, and that does fall within the eligibility criteria on the board policy around victim support and fundraising, and YRP representing the board in fundraising initiatives on behalf of the board as well. So it fits within the policy.
Okay, question? Thanks, Walter and Norma, to receive just a motion to invasion there. Move forward. You're okay with that? Victim Service Act? Good. All those in favor? Against, the motion is carried. 8.7 is collision reporting modernization project. The chief wants to speak to this one. Go ahead, chief.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, this will be brief. We did speak about it last month. Deputy McCloskey did, but there's some further information. I think it's worthy of the board hearing, at least as we push out and roll out this across the region. So I'll turn it over to Deputy McCloskey.
Thank you, Chief. Through you, Chair. Good morning, Board. I won't repeat what I said last month in the memorandum that we spoke to. I just want to give you a few statistics that weren't available to me last month, just to let you know that there is a positive uptick and appetite for this. We pulled stats from January of this year through to June 17th. And in that time period, across the region, there was about 7,400 self-reportable collisions that had taken place. Looking within the online collision reporting catchment pilot area, which is 1, 3, and 5 districts, there were a total of 3,226 reportable collisions. And broken down by the districts, in one district, we had just shy of 71% of people when provided with that option took it, 85% in 3 district, and just shy of 60% in 5 district. But I should note that 5 district didn't actually start this program until January of this year, whereas 1 and 3 had started it in April of 2023. So there certainly is a public acceptance of this, and that should bode well going forward when we go region-wide with this initiative as of July 1st of this year. And subject to any questions, that's just the update on this, yes.
Okay, yep, Norma, go ahead. Oh, put that light on there.
Great. While it's a great program, it really is a great program, but my question would be, how would someone know what the threshold is for self-reporting versus the damage that's done? How would we know the value? I didn't see anything like that explaining to me that say I had an accident.
Mhm.
And while it appears to be just a dent at the back of my car, the undercarriage, I'm not a mechanic, I can tell you, it's damaged. And so I report it as, so how do I know the value?
Thank you for the question, and through you, Mr. Chair. The self-reporting is different than a non-reportable MVC, which does speak to dollar values under $2,000. Self-reporting collisions are facilitated through our communications. So when you call communications and say, I've been in a car accident, they're going to run you through a battery of questions. And depending on your answers, they will let you know whether or not you're eligible to report online or not and give you that option. I won't go through all of them. It lists like A through J or H in all of them, but effectively, as long as there are no injuries, as long as there's no criminal offense, as long as it doesn't involve buses or commercial vehicles, damage to third-party property, et cetera, then you're going to be eligible for online collision reporting.
Okay, and then you are also responsible as you are responsible for calling a tow truck, right? That can get pretty complicated too. I'm just speaking about as an individual who's been involved before. That is really complicated as well.
Okay, thank you. And through you, Chair, I just want to clarify, are you saying, when you say you are responsible for calling a tow truck, are you referring to yourself as a person in an accident or the police? That's correct, yeah. Yeah. So at York Regional Police, if you're involved in a personal injury car accident, we do have contracted tows for each district, and they will come to the scene at the request of the officers. But if it does not land as a personal injury accident, then yeah, it is back to the person. And obviously we can't be in a position where we're suggesting a particular tow company or not, whether by phone or the 3 or 4 that are sitting there waiting. We can't direct you one way or the other. So, okay.
No, go ahead, Norma. You still have the floor. Go ahead. You still have the floor. Go ahead. You get more?
Okay, so thanks for clarifying, but I find that not the police advising that tow trucks, but an individual who's been involved in that. Now, got one extra step.
This through you, Mr. Chair, nothing about online reporting will change that. Right? Whether the police show up in person or you're reporting online, if it wasn't a personal injury accident where we were using a contracted tow, it was always, the burden always fell back to the individual to arrange for their own tow.
Thank you. Linda?
I'm Chairman, I was just gonna.
Thank you. Madeline?
Yes, through you, Chair.
You mentioned in the report, there's going to be extensive public messaging. So I was just curious, what is that extensive public messaging? How are people going to find out? Is it just through the calling in? Are you going to have road signs that, how are people going to know that they should use this service? Not everybody calls the police when they have an accident. It's just this, a fender bender. I don't need to call the police. Let's exchange information and go on our way.
Mm.
So how do they know that they have to do it online? How are you going to get that message across?
Thank you for your question, and through you, Mr. Chair. We're still working on the exact branding models with marketing communications, but it will come down to individual basis. When people call, they will find out about those options. There will be social media messaging. There will be signage, and there will also be information on our actual website. Beyond that, again, we haven't hammered out all the details with Marcom yet, but the good news is that people still have the option to have police show up at the scene. That isn't going away. The Collision Reporting Center doesn't close until March of next year, so people still have a place to go. So we have better part of 9 months to roll this out and get people accustomed to it. So.
Is it worth, I'm just thinking, you see signs on the side of the roads that say different things about the community and that kind of thing. Is it worth, having signs on the road saying in case of a collision, like they have signs that say, if you're in a collision, move your vehicles out of the side. Okay, so that is informing people and we see them. Like it eventually sinks into our heads that, we have a collision, move them to the side of the road. Would it be worth having signs saying in the event of a collision, go to this website or whatever? Eventually it will sink in people's head as they see them as they drive around. Is that worth something to have in the community? I know that probably has to be linked up with the municipality and stuff like that, but.
It certainly is. Thank you for your question. And through you, Mr. Chair, it's the piece that the sign wouldn't address is allowing the communicator to actually determine whether or not you're eligible to report online. Right? I think you could never get all this information on a sign that anyone could see as they're walking or driving by. So we're still going to be asking people to be calling in when they're in a collision and then be directed in terms of what the next steps are, whether it be online or officers attending in person.
But it could be easily done by saying, call 911 or report your.
But they may not be able to, depending on if there's an injury or if it's a criminal matter or a fail to remain. We want to make sure that we're actually giving people the correct information such that when they do report it, they're doing it the right way.
Okay. Okay, everybody okay? Okay, so Norma and Madeline will move receipt of the recommendation of 8.7. All those in favor? Against, the motion is carried. 8.8, it's regarding the York Region Police Annual Report. Welcome, ladies. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Tamara Donnell, Director of Marketing and Communications, and myself were pleased to share with the board the 2023 annual report, now exclusively in digital format. The digital format is accessible and meets AODA standards. It is also mobile optimized to view on your phone. Additionally, it has a responsive design with photos populating as you move over them. The navigation can be managed from the top 3 bars on the top right side of the site, otherwise known as the hamburger menu. Users can also navigate to stories on the bottom of the site, otherwise known as breadcrumbs. The content of the 2023 annual report highlights our law enforcement and crime prevention efforts across the 4 main objectives of the 2023-2025 business plan: safety and well-being, inclusion and belonging, recruitment and retention, and continuous innovation and improvement. The report also highlights the efforts from each of our 5 districts. In addition to these themes, an underlying focus of the York Regional Police has been and continues to be supporting victims of crime. Members of York Regional Police often find ourselves caring for victims of crime. Treating them with compassion and respect is an intrinsic duty shared by all of our members. The stories on this site detail the rescue of 64 victims of labor trafficking who were subject to deplorable living and working conditions. Our community partners supported us, offering medical attention, food, and shelter to assist these victims. YRP investigators also solved the 54-year-old cold case of the murder of Yvonne LaRue through technological advances in DNA, bringing justice to the victim's family. In 2023, YRP concentrated their efforts to dismantle the increasing number of organized criminal groups responsible for auto thefts, guns and gangs, and violent crimes such as carjackings. The report highlights the multiple operations launched by YRP to combat this rise in violent crime using data-driven, specially trained investigative teams. We continue to leverage advances in technology that contribute to the modernization of our police service, including a new state-of-the-art helicopter acquired in 2023 and the redesign of our cruisers to a simpler navy and white two-tone design. Helping members reach their leadership potential has also been our focus. We partnered with Schulich to provide members with a customized leadership program, which has proven to be appealing from recruitment and retention standpoint. In 2023, we continued to build towards an equitable workplace through anti-racism training for all of our members and the creation of several internal support networks that celebrate our members' varied cultural histories. We are proud to share the details of our fundraising efforts like Holiday Heroes and Police Appreciation Night, benefiting victims of Victim Services of York Region, the Salvation Army, and the York Region Center for Community Safety. Chief Jim McSween, Deputy Chiefs Alvaro Almeida, Paulo da Silva, Cecile Hammond, and Kevin McCloskey remain grateful for the professionalism and courage of all of our members, sworn and civilian, who continue to protect our community with compassion and fairness each and every day. As always, we are thankful for the ongoing support of the Police Services Board and regional and municipal councils, which continue to provide the resources we need to ensure our community remains safe and secure where everyone feels that they belong. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Questions to the presenters? Question, Linda?
Thank you, through you. Thank you for the presentation, Superintendent. I guess my question is, I was looking here and I was looking for a link in eScribe. Are you going to send this out to us? Because you said it's fully digital, but it's not attached anywhere today.
Chairman, through you, the link should have been provided through the board.
Jacqueline's going to speak now.
Sorry, through you, Chair. I didn't provide the link because it wasn't live at the time, but it's going to be posted on our website today.
Wonderful. And if you could just send us as board members the link, it would be great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great work. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Chairman, through you, if you don't
Yeah,
mind,
sure.
I'll just provide to the board as well. I tried the link myself. It's very slick. They've done an amazing job on this. Really easy to read, really good to navigate on your phone. So I think the community will really benefit from the way we're producing this from this point forward. It's been a long time coming, so I wanted to publicly thank Tamara and Christine and the entire team at Marketing Communication, because they're doing a lot of work in this space right now, and this is our first real big lift in the digital space with this new platform. So I think you're going to enjoy the way you read it on your phones or tablet or whatever. So
Chairman,
Thank
if
you.
I could just do a follow-up. Thank you, Chief. But through you, you spoke about digitally. I mean, I don't know if you know the stat or not. I think is it 80 or 85% of the people now use a mobile phone as opposed to a laptop? Do you know that exact stat? Because it's
I think the stat in Canada is about 75 to 80%, depending on age demographics and, a number of other factors, accessibility being one of them. But I will thank the chief for his comments. This has been a very optimized site through everyone's mobile devices, whether that's an iPad or your phone. So I think you'll find that both viewing experiences are very streamlined. We'll also post it to our website so the community has immediate access to it, and that will go live today.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's terrific. Thank you so much. Thank you.
and we'd love your feedback. Once you see it, let us know through directly or whatever, because we need to hear that. I
The
mean,
only one thing I could add through you as you're asking for feedback is that we actually have a YRP app.
leave it with me. We've been talking about this. This is a bit, much bigger discussion and an offline discussion, but
Okay.
yes, I get,
Thank you.
Any further comments? Thank you, seconder. Thank you, Madeline. You went very fast. I had a tough time following. You're pretty quick on that button pushing, you know that, you go up and down all over. Yeah, I, very fast. You're fast. I don't, I'm not very techy. Okay, I'll tell you that right now, but I mean, if it's simple, that's good. Good for us. Okay, all those in favor? Against the motion carried. Thank you very much. Great job. Well done. Okay. Communications. I think, is there any other unfinished business at this time before I go into the private session? Is there any other business? It's been a kind of a rough couple of weeks with YRP, unfortunately. Yeah. It's, and even in the city of Toronto, it seems, I don't know what it is nowadays, but there's, no one seems to care what they do nowadays and how they do it. So anyways, on the upcoming events, I will be attending the graduation on August the 1st, and I will be at the conference in Halifax on the 8th to the 11th, or the 8th and up, yeah. Okay, so no other business. I'll ask that Walter and Norma move us into the private session. All those in favor?